We are on the precipice of NBA All-Star Weekend in Los Angeles, which is where we find our great friend and fellow bald man, TNT NBA analyst Charles Barkley. Chuck, let's start with this. The reconstructed Cavaliers have looked really good in their first two games. Are you with me that they are the team to beat in the East?
I agree with you. I think it's a two-team race. I think between the Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors, what Kobe Altman did doing that, getting rid of a bunch of players who weren't doing anything and getting those young, energetic guys, he had a great trade day.
Well, we're going to extend that for a second, Charles, given the new makeup of this team. If you're LeBron, do you think you want to stay in Cleveland now with these new guys and this new team? Or do you think you say, you know what, it was a nice ride, but I'm out?
Well, I always hope LeBron stays in Cleveland. I think it's great for that city. I think it's great for a guy to be that great and play his career, finish his career in his hometown. Now, if he's just chasing jewelry, I don't know how to answer that question. But for a guy to be that great, to be drafted number one in his hometown team and finish his career there, I just think it would be just a great story.
Obviously, one of the places that he is said to be looking at is the Los Angeles Lakers, and Magic Johnson believes he can land two big free agents. Do you agree with Magic that he could get two big guys?
I think he can get some guys. I don't know if he can get LeBron. You know what? Everybody, it ain't like it used to be, Tony, where everybody can make more money in L.A. and you're going to be seen more. I mean, James Harden, Kevin Durant, LeBron James are probably the three biggest players in our league, Steph Curry also, and they've never set foot in L.A. So it's not like it was social media and the way the internet and everything's work. You don't have to be in L.A. or Boston or Philly like that and be a big star anymore.
You know, you mentioned two of those guys on Golden State, Steph and KD. Chuck, the Warriors have stumbled a little bit as of late. I mean, they had some tough outings. Steve Kerr tried to rouse them a little bit the other night by letting them get more involved with the coaching of the team. You have any real worries yet about the Warriors?
I do. I think that, you know, they keep getting these guys off the street to play on their bench. Their bench is not nearly as good as it's been the last 3 or 4 years. And listen, obviously they got the big three. Kevin's terrific. Klay's terrific. Steph is terrific. But let me tell you something. Their depth is not as good as it used to be. Now, the question is, can the Rockets or the Cavaliers beat them in a 7-game series? The Rockets, what Daryl Morey and those guys have done in Houston, now going out getting Joe Johnson and those guys, that's going to be a fantastic series if they ever play each other. I mean, the scoreboard operator is going to be totally exhausted after that 7-game series.
So let me get to something that Mike mentioned before. The other night when Steve Kerr didn't coach, he sat back. He let his players handle the clipboard duties and call all the plays and stuff like that. Do you have, or did you have in that moment, any problem with that?
Hell yeah. Let me tell you something.
Because you and I agree, and Wilbon doesn't agree.
I got to hear this.
Let me tell you something. You know, they call it a flagrant 2 when you get tossed out the game. I would have been committed some flagrant 5, 6, and 7s. You know, I think, Tony, I watch y'all guys' show every day. Tony, you're 100% correct. He wouldn't have did it against the Spurs. He wouldn't have did it against the Rockets. But also, you got to remember something. He did not leave Phoenix on good terms. That's the one thing I think people are forgetting about. He did not leave Phoenix on good terms.
We had not considered that, had we? You told Jimmy Kimmel last night that you once played a game intoxicated because you'd been celebrating a trade to the Lakers that had fallen apart. Do you remember the game subsequent to that? What happened? How'd that go? Because I can't remember it.
I got a call first thing in the morning from my agent. This is one of my last years in Philly. I got a call from my agent first thing in the morning. He says, we think the Sixers and the Lakers have a deal. And he says, I said, the deal done? He says, yes, the deal is done. So we went out and started celebrating. And then about 3 hours later, I get a call from my agent saying the Sixers backed out of the deal. And, Mike, I tell you what, I have never drank before a game before, but that's the only time I've ever did it in my life. I don't even remember the game. I don't even know if I played good or bad or who we played.
Was this just after Magic had retired? You would not have gotten to play with Magic because you would have been happy too, happier if Magic had still been there. But was he still there when this deal was on?
No, Magic was still on the Lakers at that time. It was in the late 80s. Because I didn't get traded the first time until 92, but it was in the late 80s, like 88, 89, 90. I think that's when the Pistons were the champions. But yeah, I would have got to play with Magic. That's why I was excited about the trade.
We'll get you out of here on this. Auburn, big win against Kentucky last night. Auburn ranked 10th in the nation. Can they win it all?
Listen, I think they can because there's no dominant team. I told Clark Kellogg and Seth Davis, I sent them a text last week. I got no idea. I've only watched 2 NBA games the last month. Those were the first 2 Cavaliers games. I got no idea who the best team in the country is. I thought it was Purdue for a minute. I thought it was Virginia for a minute. Then they both got beat. Then Villanova was in that conversation. I actually think Michigan State might be the best team in the country, but they're not dominant. But the March Madness is going to be the craziest I've ever seen it this year.
Thank you so much, Charles. Enjoy the weekend.
Chuck, appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.